Hello, hello. I will be on soon. Just setting myself up, getting ready to go. All right. Let me see. Hello. Hi, Lynn. And Michael. How are you? Definitely a lot more going on around here for me, so it takes a little while for me to get everything together. So I hope you're all well. This is the last week of this session, so we're off next week for a whole week, and we'll be back the following. So that's it. Yeah, I was gonna say for those who need to sign up, thinking about the hospital and the 8-week sessions, I've been mentioning this week in my classes. Probably 2022 is when live classes will begin. For now, it's this. Hi, Nancy. Good morning. And so we'll see what happens. All right. So without further ado, I think I hear a cat. I do hear a cat. Hello, honey. How are you? Oh, you're just nothing but pure love. Yes, my little boy. He spent the night outside 2 nights ago. First time ever. We were totally paranoid. We have cameras we put out in the patio. We turned on lights. And it was like, oh my God, because we have a lot of coyotes. And so we were so worried. Like our neighbors had seen a coyote maybe 2 mornings before at 6 in the morning, and they only live 4 houses away. So we know they're out there, and we have lost cats. So we were so worried, and he's never been out there. And the fact that he's light, we have 2 cats that are light, so we get worried about them more than the others. Yes, we do. You're so precious. You're so precious. All right. So we are going to begin our yoga for wellness. And I recommend cats. I recommend cats for sure. All right. All righty. He's purring like crazy, so it's so hard for me to leave him. And he's so soft and fluffy. And so it's just like such a beautiful bonding is happening. But now he's probably getting frisky. He's definitely frisky. And he's a teenager because he's only 1.5. So it goes from nice, soft, and fluffy to, oh my gosh, you're gonna scratch me and bite me really quickly. Okay, you wanna go out? So let me see if he wants to go out. Goodbye. Perfect. All right, so let me see if anyone else came. Stevie, good morning. I love to know who's here because then I think about you guys, especially those of you that have practiced with me for a long, long time. For some of you, I think it's been 6 years. Nancy actually was in my very first class ever. So Nancy has been with me for 7, almost 1.5 years, which is crazy. All right. So let's begin our practice today. Yoga for wellness, bringing our awareness to this moment. And I'd like to share something that I did last night that I think is a really great thing I'd love for you to try. So the next time you take a shower, the next time you take a shower, well, I did it standing up with my eyes closed. So I don't know if I should be recommending that part because I thought about that, the potential of falling. It's about sound. So for me, I do it with my eyes closed. I stand up, wide stance. I'm okay to close my eyes with balance. So for those of you that aren't, that wouldn't be good. Maybe a seat in your shower would be good. Or if you can sit on the ground, although that might also be another thing too, right? So I gotta be careful what I recommend to think about all the potential risks. I was listening to all the sounds that existed. And the sounds either from the shower water, the sounds of the water hitting the floor. So really paying attention to all of the different areas that sound existed. So whether it was coming from the down below or from the sides or from up above, and then it was just so present moment. And when we can come into the present moment, when we can use the part of our brain that feels or the sensory aspects, so either what we're seeing or touching or tasting, like even if you were to take your hands through sand or dirt and to be fully immersed in whatever it is you're doing at that moment with the senses, that's a way to preoccupy your mind, bring your mind to a certain place so that the background part of you that's always trying to protect you can say, okay, wait, great, the coast is clear. She's preoccupied or he's preoccupied. Let's go and repair the bones. Let's go and repair the muscles. Let's go and repair whatever we need to repair. And also that chronic inflammation state that takes place, that healing state, it can either finish the healing job it needs and then relax, or go somewhere else to heal. So it's really important if you have anything to heal in your body, and if you're over the age of 30, the demands are greater than what your capabilities are. That's that loss of resiliency, which is what is happening with degeneration in our bodies of aging. So whenever you can bring yourself to present moment, you let this natural healing quality go at full force inside your body to heal you, to repair you, to restore you. Okay? So anytime, and think of something you could do over the next week when we're not together, or even any other time, where you could fully look at something or fully touch something or fully be in the sense of smell or the sense of sound. Being outside, closing your eyes, listening to birds from all different areas and different size birds, noticing how the crows come in and overtake these songbirds, or the chirping, the high pitch. So that's another thing to do as well. All right. So for today's practice, you will need a strap and you will need a block. We're going to put those over to the side. We're going to focus today on doing whatever you can do. Today's practice, I want the word I can to be a part of what you do. So let's come down on the ground to ground our mental energy into our body, to be in a place of feeling. I'd like you to use a prop to support your spine. So if you have a bolster, it could be a bolster with your arms out to the side. It could be pillows, or you could take your blanket or towel and roll it up. The smaller and the tighter the roll, the more intense the opening. So for those of you that have a flexible body, a movable body, you could go a little tighter. And for those of you that maybe have some more postural issues in your body or have some shoulder joint issues, maybe you'll go a little softer with your fold and a little bigger with your fold. You have to do what's appropriate for you, right? I'd like to help you create a practice that is appropriate for your body. So we're going to come with the tushy on the floor and the prop is behind your spine. And I'd like you to feel the connection of that. Now, if you have osteoporosis, I want you to go to the side because you want to make sure you don't compress the front part of your spine, which leads to spinal fractures. And, you know, since osteoporosis is a silent disease, maybe people have issues in their spine that they're unaware of. And 50% of us over age 50 have bone density issues or bone density loss. So coming to the side would be better for those of you with bone density issues, or using your core for support if you know that you don't, to come down onto the blanket or pillow or bolster, whatever it is you've created for yourself, whatever you've chosen. And then make sure your head is supported enough, but not too much. Find Goldilocks. Find the back of your neck is long. Your chin is parallel to your feet. Have your knees bent. Your feet are flat. Let your feet go wider than your body. And then bring your arms out to the side. Close your eyes and feel your way into the appropriate stretch for you. When you get there, try to raise the arms up a little bit more, maybe to get a little bit more stretch. Maybe that exists for you and maybe not.
Do what's appropriate. And then allow the weight of your arms to relax to the floor. So come to a place where you feel some kind of stretch and get comfortable with learning for you what is the safe range of motion. Where are you creating an appropriate stretch to increase range of motion in your joints, improve your flexibility, which will improve alignment, joint coordination, and mobility, and balance and posture? You need to find what's right for you. So what can you do? Find what you can do. And then with that, bring your awareness to your body. Let your tongue rest in either the lower jaw area, or take the tip of the tongue and let it rest right by the roof of the mouth and where the roof of the mouth and the teeth meet, very gently. So the back teeth are separated. Bring your breath to your chest. Maybe paying attention to the heart, to the feeling of stretch. So I'd like to count out a rectangular breath. This is called Savitri Pranayama. And in the studies that I'm doing with my teacher and the lineage I'm studying within India, many of the people who have been studying in this practice for 60 years, more than 60 years, they say that this is one of their favorite ways to breathe. This is their favorite pranayama or breathing practice. And it's a rectangular pattern breath. And when you slow down or pattern your breath like this, you actually help to calm the nervous system, which will allow for inflammation to decrease, for blood sugar to regulate, for your cardiovascular system to recalibrate. So a lot of good healing can come when we take charge of our breath. And this is actually the most valuable thing you'll do in your practice, is learn how to breathe. So I'll count out 2, 4, 2, 4, and then I'll move up to 3, 6, 6, 3, 6, 3. And let's see where you land, what's appropriate for you. And then when I let you go to count yourself, make sure you count. You could visualize a rectangle shape when you do your counting to keep you really fully engrossed in what you're doing. So let's prepare by taking a big exhale. Let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Adding on. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Continue on your own, counting and breathing. Pay attention to your heart when you're counting. Notice if the holds and the numbers are the correct for you and for your cardiovascular system. Keep staying with your breath. Keep counting, keep your mind busy. Relax your arms, relax your body as you continue to do your last couple of rounds of Savitri Pranayama. Wherever you feel the most tension, maybe in your shoulders, your chest, your arms, bring your awareness there for your last few rounds. See if you could soften and allow that deep stretch to take place. And then finish your last round. And when you finish that last round, allow your body to go back to breathing itself. Bring your awareness to your fingers, wiggle your fingers. Let's lift the arms gently off the floor to do a little bit of, snow angels when you're lying down on the ground in the snow and you raise your arms up overhead to make angel wings. Do that here with your arms in whatever a range of motion is available. And try not to let the arms slide on the floor. And that'll really depend actually how much support you have behind your spine. So if you need to do that, go ahead and do that. Really focus on the elbows being bent and letting the bent elbows or the elbow itself actually come closer to the waist when you come down. And on the inhale, slowly allow your arms to move towards overhead, the fingers towards touching. For some of you, they can. For some of you, that's not available. So do what's appropriate. See if you notice things happening in your arms. So we are stretching the part of the body where a lot of nerves come off of the brain down the neck and branch off either in the chest or the shoulder area to the fingers. And there's a lot of neurological dedication in the brain to the hands for experiencing and feeling. So we need this pathway of nerves to be able to freely flow through the tissue, to take away unobstructions, any kind of I forgot the name. I was just reading about this yesterday. The adhesions that get in our fascia, the technical name for them. I'll think about it, or I'll remember soon. I like to call them cobwebs, so that's my non-technical term. So let's take the cobwebs out, and then bring your hands down alongside your body, elbows are bent, so kind of out to the sides. And remember, you're gonna do what you can do in your shoulders. Palms are up towards the sky. Now imagine that you're right up against a glass window, and the window pane is against your forehead, your nose, your chin, and your body. And your palms are spread and touching the glass. And underneath your palms, or on your palms, is a rag with Windex. And you're going to do some circular patterns to clean the window right where your hands are, starting with small circles first and starting to get bigger and bigger. So it's as if you're up against a pane of glass and you are circular patterns to clean. And then if you'd like to go up and down to clean, or side to side, or diagonal to diagonal, whatever you'd like to do, creating some freedom in fibrosis. Fibrosis is the word I was looking for. That has definitely, fibrosis is a mixture of mucus aspects in our body. And that's also part of inflammation and could be part of what's causing some obstruction of flow for nerves as well. And then one more Bring your arms all the way overhead if that's appropriate for you. Turn the thumbs down towards the ground, palms are in towards each other. Remember finding whatever range of motion you can do, not saying to yourself, oh, forget it, I can't rest my hands above. Instead saying, well, how high can I go towards above? And where do I need to stop in my shoulder joint? And then you stop there. And if you can reach your arms overhead, really reach, opening up the shoulders and the chest. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring your arms slowly down alongside your body. We're all going to roll onto our side, cradle your head in your arm, and come away from whatever props are behind you. And take a few breaths here. And bring your hand in front of you on the floor. And you're going to push away from the floor to bring yourself up to seated. I'd like to explain a little bit about what we did, and I'd like us to sit in a position while I do this that can actually help to be a self-chiropractic adjustment in your spine. It's like a mermaid position. So you're going to bring, now I'm going to speak about the leg that I have because it's easier for me to do that. It's going to be opposite than most of you because we'll have a mirror image. This is my right leg. So whatever leg is in the front, you're going to let that knee go out to the side and the foot is in front of you. Try to bring it a little bit closer to the middle of your body. And then you're going to take the opposite knee. You may need to move to the side. Try to let that leg come straight off of your body so there's less bend in your hip joint. And then you're going to bring the hand on the floor, the leg that's in the front. You bring that hand on the floor. You may need a prop of some sort, depending on how long your arms are, depending how much tightness exists in your hips or your low back area. Now, I'll tell you, for me, just sitting here like this for the few seconds we've been here, I've already felt popping in my back because I do have pelvic asymmetry because I have a hip replacement in one side and a natural hip in the other side. And so I have asymmetry in my hips and I feel it. I feel it in my pelvis. So just being here, I just felt another adjustment, a self-chiropractic adjustment. It can be a really amazing posture for that. Now, the hand that's alongside you, if you put it alongside you and let your shoulder and your elbow be towards the side or the back so that you're really open in this chest here. And then the opposite leg, you push that opposite knee into the floor. That might even get you more. So I think I've had about 10 movements since we've been sitting here. Now, I will say that I have very mobile joints still. I'm in my mid-50s. And my chiropractor told me that around 50, for some people, they get hardened in their joints if they don't move them and keep things real fluid. So calcifications can happen in the joints. And for some, you become a little bit less mobile. It would be interesting to see if we adopted a real disciplined practice of yoga, moving our joints and keep pushing the envelope or the edge, if we could regain and soften and break up some of those adhesions and calcifications and get back some mobility in our joints. So that's my goal, is to share that wisdom with you so that you can stay as mobile and movable as possible. Now, when you're in this, push your tailbone straight down towards the ground. So it's a slight posterior pelvic tilt, pushing the top of the pelvis back. And then you could take the hand of the leg, the foot that's to the back in front of you to bring in the upper spine. Push down on the floor to get tall. And then stay here, take a couple breaths. So I wanted to speak about what we just came out of. We just came out of chest expansion or spinal extension supported and really work to open up the shoulder and the chest area. So important. For me, when I know the why am I doing this? It makes me want to do it more, longer, or more often. And so I want you to realize that to really function and to keep your body, preserve what you have, or regain some of what you lost, it's important that we do what we can and we understand the true value in the practice of yoga for the body and also for the other aspects, for the biochemistry, physiology, for the health of your biochemistry, and for your mind and your emotions, and all of you. So it's a total mind-body practice. So grateful that this wisdom exists for us humans. Thank you, India. Thank you, Vedic masters and rishis that passed this wisdom down so that we could learn it, regardless of where we live in the world now. And get really tall here. Take one more breath. And then go ahead, soften as you come out. So I think I've had about 15 or 20 different adjustments during that. So we're gonna come to the other side. It's like a mermaid, right? Now, I personally don't really do it on this side because when I learned this, it was part of my therapeutic protocol to readjust my spine, and I know it does, so I'm not gonna go so intense here, although I do wanna show it to you. And if you wanna know how would I know, well, you could feel what's happening in your body. Well, I shouldn't say that I am getting a therapeutic value here because I have a tightness in this hip, my natural hip, and I do feel that bending or flexion in the hip joint in this internal rotated position actually is therapeutic for that hip. So anyway, all right, you got to learn how to feel what you need in your body. Bringing this leg forward, try to bring the foot towards the center, and then bring the opposite knee out. Something behind you to really get some height and length in your spine, and then you bring the hand forward. So yeah, I stand corrected. Maybe there's not so much spinal work here for me, but there is a lot of inner thigh work here for me, and actually, so it's a lot of hip work for me on my natural hip side. So there you go. So this is good for the hip on this side, and this is good for the spine and pelvis for the other side. So hopefully you're receiving or feeling or noticing something for yourself, and hopefully you'll remember to do this. So I feel fully weighted. You'll feel fully weighted on one buttock. And if you can press the knees towards or into the floor, try that. Not everybody can. And if you are far away from the floor, oh well, you are far away from the floor. It just is what it is. So this is good for keeping the hips, the pelvis, and the spine in alignment, and also figuring out where that asymmetry exists for you. Where are you a little bit tight on this side, a little bit looser on this side? Where are you a little off here, off there? So whatever that is for you. And let's go ahead and take 2 more breaths here. And then on the end of that last breath, let's come out of that. Come to sit on your tushy. Bring your legs in front of you and bring your hands behind you. So I'd like to explore wrist health here. And I know that for many of you, there is an issue with wrists. So for many of you, you may need to go back even farther. And let's all go back far at first, because I'd like you to notice that when you do go back farther, you feel that weight in your tushy, right? Go back and forth, side to side, and you feel your tushy, like the weight and the heaviness. And you feel something in your wrists, but you feel maybe some stuff in your shoulders here and some stuff in your tushy. Then I'd like you to start to walk your hands a little bit closer to your body. See if you could keep your fingers facing away from you. Notice that when you stop, there's much more weight being distributed here now in the hands and the wrists. And for some of you, that may feel appropriate, for some not. So please find what is appropriate here for you, because it is important to gain mobility in your wrist joint. And I know a lot of you avoid wrist joint weight bearing, and I'd like to have you slowly start to get to what you can do and build up a little bit more. It's going to be a preventative measure for you in your life to minimize future pain and discomfort. All right, let's see if you can turn your hands first to the side and just explore what happens there when you put weight on your wrists. Slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Lift your heart up. Push your chest up. So this is a back bend, and you're using a little bit more muscular strength here. Pushing your Hands into the floor. Do you feel equally weighted in your wrists? Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out. Can you turn your hands forward? So maybe you're still able to keep going with me and maybe you need to stop at the step before this. That's okay. You do whatever you need to do. And if you need to take your feet forward a little bit more, if that gives you a little bit more range of motion in your pelvis to come into a deeper extension position, tailbone down towards the ground, lengthen in your spine, 26 vertebrae, jelly donuts between each vertebra, called your vertebral discs. We'll call them jelly donuts. Lift and separate your spine. Feel that length in your spine. Push your tailbone into the floor. Press your belly towards your spine. And then lengthen your lumbar. Now bring your awareness to your lower ribs. Start to push the lower ribs forward. And then all 12 of those vertebrae forward. Open your throat a little here. Pushing your hands into the floor. Shoulder blades together or towards each other. And then push the shoulder blades into the rib cage to get that last deep stretch. And breathe. Long neck. No short neck here. One more. And then bring yourself out. Let's come forward. Get your blanket. Take your blanket. Come onto your blanket, either sitting down if your knees will let you, or being up high if you have to do that for your knees. So do what's appropriate for you and your knees. Bring awareness to your wrists. Shake your wrists like you have something sticky on them and you're trying to flick it off of your wrists. So there's a little bit of momentum and you're going side to side and then you're going up and down. And of course, you know your wrists and what's going on in there and what you should and can and can't. Or we're getting rid of the can't one. We're just saying should or shouldn't or can and that's it. All right, take your arm forward, arm is straight. Push the back of the palm towards you. Feel that stretch on the top of the forearm. And then let's do the same thing now. Keep the arms straight, that's important. And you're not just on the fingers, you're on the whole hand. The heel of the hand is reaching away from you. And then let's do the same thing with the other. Bending the wrist, pulling the wrist towards you. Make sure you have a nice long neck, no shoulder earrings. And then now take your fingers and move your fingers. And then take your fingers and push your fingers back. So I'm pushing my fingers back. You're going to feel ligaments, tendons, muscles, kind of weird. And take the thumb goes back. And then the other side, fingers. I like to look at my hand. I like to see all the blood getting squished out of the places where it's white. And then when you let go, whoosh, it goes back. And then thumb. Feel a stretch. I want you to feel a stretch. This will help with arthritis, help to start to get some of the sticky stuff to move back into the system and be processed. Clear up the cobwebs that you've got going on in your hands, especially those of you that are living more in the, oh, I can't bend my wrist or I can't do this. So let's take the fingers again. Let's take the fingers and come onto all fours with the fingers. Come onto the fingertips like you have a frosted cupcake in your hand and you're holding your frosted cupcake. So come onto fingertips. Flip your toes under and try to get all 5 toes to bend. And you're on your fingertips. Inhale and then exhale. Push your tushy back towards your heels. Inhale forward.
Now you need to find what you can do. What's your range of motion? Is for you better to have your hands forward? What's the best for you? Or is it better to be closer? If your knees bend, come closer to your body. Then if your knees don't like to bend or your feet are feeling tight, then go farther away. And then so not all of you will be able to do this. That's okay. Palms are on the ground, fingers are forward. Actually, palms are closer to you. Palms are closer to you, fingers are forward, and then let your body weight go forward a little bit. Pick up your hands, fingers go towards you, palms are on the floor, elbows and wrists are pointing away from you, and then bring your body weight back. Deep wrist stretch, or the muscles of the wrist and the forearm. And then you're going to take the backs of the hands, place the backs of the hands on the floor. I know not all of you can do this. You're going to do some variation. Maybe you need to be, farther away is a little harder. And then you move your body weight back if you want to deepen that stretch. Notice if one hand is tighter than the other. Usually is. And usually the hand we use the most, if you're right-handed, usually the right hand. Then I'd like you to come onto your feet, flip your toes under and sit on your feet. Try to bring your heels together in some variation of this. That's the end range of motion, bringing the heels together. And then if you are like this and you're able to do it, keep your feet stretched. Push your low back back. Let your pelvis tilt backwards. And then bring yourself forward. Take a foot back. And take the other foot back. So while we're here, we're going to come into a dolphin plank. We're going to do a 1-minute plank. This is a great thing to have into your life. You know how, like, let's say that you're a pretty good vitamin D taker, you know, one of the vitamins, or it's actually a pro-hormone that people are pretty good about taking. And there's certain things that like the general population knows about and is pretty good about taking. So let's say vitamin D is one of them, because we do need to have really good levels of vitamin D for optimal functioning in the body. So let's say plank, when we're talking about physical postures, is one that you could add to your list, kind of like the vitamin D where you do it all the time. So we'll call it vitamin P, plank. Okay, so let's take a block. And if you have a block, this sets your shoulders up for a nice position. You see how my elbows are block distance? So when you're on the ground, it sets you up for a better support position. This position on the ground, not quite as supportive in the shoulder girdle. So we want the elbows to be here. If you don't have a block, try to find this as opposed to this. All right, so your knees are on your mat. You're gonna walk your knees back. You're gonna take your hands, bringing your arms forward, forward, forward. Now this is the modification. For some of you, you wanna stay here with your knees and your legs on the floor. For the rest of you, you're gonna bring your knees off the floor, push your heels back, elbows, walk them closer together so they're definitely underneath the shoulders. Lengthen your spine from tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. And then let your forehead and nose point kind of straight down to the ground or a tiny bit forward. And then push your hands into the floor, push your arms into the floor, push your elbows into the floor. If at any point you need to come down, come down. And if you're in the full version and it's pretty intense, then put the knees and the shins and the feet on the floor and go into the modified. If you're up here with me, push your feet into the floor, push the right foot into the floor, the pinky toe all the way to the big toe, and then bring your awareness to the left. Pinky toe all the way to the big toe, and then push both feet into the floor, lengthen from heels all the way to the crown of the head. And then go ahead and come down. Take your block to the side. Keep your arms in this position. It's called Sphinx posture, where the elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Palms are on the floor. Push your hands down and then
pull your rib cage forward away from the pelvis. So feel that lengthening inside your body. And then your 26 vertebra, get long in each one. Let your tailbone and sacrum be soft. And then from the lower lumbar, through the thoracic spine, through the cervical spine, push your arms into the floor. Lift your chest away from the floor. And let your belly be soft and breathe down to your belly. Stretch the abdominal area. Let your pelvis be heavy here. Take your hands a little wider, elbows a little wider. Push away from the floor to come up, seal posture. Not for everyone, I know, but for those that can do this, try it. And breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. And then with length, we're all going to come down onto the ground. Fold your hands one on top of the other. Take your legs wide here and wiggle your pelvis back and forth. And then let your forehead rest on the back of your hand. Bring your knees into a bent position as you bring your feet up. Soles of the feet face the sky. Let your legs go back and forth side to side to help to relax the back. Stretching the front, tensing up the back to do that. And because there's so much protection in the body, when we do these deep stretches like that, certain areas of our body might respond. And it might be scary for those of you that have issues, especially back issues. You might go like, oh, wait, is this okay? So really important that you pay attention and learn how to read your body. All right, we're going to slide. We're going to stretch the front of the hip joint. So you're going to slide the leg out to the side in a figure 4 position. Let your foot come directly off your knee. Let your inner knee joint be on the ground. And then the goal is for you to be pushing, not with your hand, your awareness, that front hip joint. Keep pushing that front hip joint towards the floor, stretching the inner thigh area where the leg attaches to the body. And then let yourself breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. Go ahead, bring your leg back. Let's slide the opposite leg out to the side. Bringing the upper leg bone right off of the body, bending the knee. The ankle is right underneath the knee. And you have strong 90-degree angles in your hip joint, your knee joint, and your ankle joint. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take the right hand forward. The left arm is bent. Your head is on the back of the left hand. Walk your feet together. Lengthen your legs. Exhale. And as you inhale, lift your right arm up towards the sky away from the floor. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. Bring your awareness to your left leg. Let your legs come straight off of the hips so their big toes are separated about 4 inches. Exhale. Inhale, lift the left leg up towards the sky. Let the sole of the foot point upward. Exhale to lower. Go slow. It's not a big move. You're not trying to get high up. You're trying to activate the posterior chain, the tushy, the back of the thigh, and the back of the low back on the left. So go slow so that can happen, and don't just jerk up. Don't just throw your leg up. Slowly let all the muscles contract to lift the weight of your leg up off the floor. And feel that muscular action in the glutes, hamstring, and low back. This next one, we're going to lift the right arm and the left leg. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, lift the left leg and the right arm. Lengthen the left leg long. Lengthen the right arm long. And take deep breaths. And then go ahead and lower. Let the body soften. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Bring your right hand. Put your forehead on the right back of the right hand and bring the left arm out. Let the legs be heavy. Let's go to the left upper back now. Prepare by exhaling. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Exhale to lower. It's not going to go very high. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. One more. And then lower. Legs are coming straight out the body. Feet are about 4 inches apart. Bring your awareness to your right leg. Exhale. Inhale, lift the right leg. Sole of the foot up towards the sky. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. Go slow. Feel the process of all of the muscles in the back of your body that need to engage to lift the weight of all the leg bones off the floor. One more like this. And then we're going to add left arm. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Inhale to lift. On your next one, lift and hold. And then exhale to lower. Bring the legs wide, bring both hands and bring the back of the forehead onto the hands. Wiggle your pelvis back and forth. And then bend the legs, let the legs go side to side. And then bring yourself onto the right side. So I'll say onto the right side, and if that's not appropriate for you, go ahead and do the opposite. Bend your lower leg, then bend the upper leg. See if you could take hold of either the foot, ideally, where the ankle joint in the foot is. So see if you could go there, or maybe you need to do the pants or the socks or the shorts. Then try to let that upper leg be straight off of your body. That's the goal. And push that hip joint forward, stretching the quadricep, the front of the leg. Open up that shoulder, push that upper elbow back so you're bending the elbow. Try to stretch this upper part of your body. Take one more breath. And then go ahead, take your leg to a straight position right along your side. Flex your foot. You're right along your side. You could bend the lower leg for support. And you're going to inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Strengthening the hip joint here. Keep yourself nice and long. You can even take your hand on the top by your hip bone, pushing that hip bone away from you so you keep length in your waist when you do this. And then flex that foot. The whole sole is pointing away from you. Last one, you're going to stay there and little lifts up. Lift from the outside edge of the back heel, not from the pinky toe. So lift from the back of your leg, little pulses. Stay there. And then go ahead, bring yourself into a bent knee position. The knees are coming off the pelvis. Take both hands, clasp them behind your head. Let the elbows come towards each other. Long spine, belly button to spine. Inhale, open up to rotate the upper spine. Exhale to close. Inhale. So a lot of joint range of motion work here today. Stretching these little muscles that are in the joints that help to stabilize and mobilize. Trying to increase the range of motion in your body. Next time you come open, stay open. Stay here. Create space on that top waist. So push the top of the pelvis away from you when you're in the open position. Push your heart forward. Take an inhale. And then go ahead, exhale. So we're going to come on to the other side. So you could roll all the way over to the other side if you'd like. I'm going to need to switch. You're going to come onto the side. The bottom leg is bent. Your top leg is right along the side of the body, and you're going to bend the knee. So keep this top leg coming off your body. Reach around and take hold of whatever you can. Maybe it's the top of your foot. Maybe it's where the ankle joint is, or maybe it has to be the sock or the shorts. And I do find that on the side like this is easier for people to have access to this knee flexion positions. But even if people have knee issues, it's easier to bend the leg when you're on the side like this and to try to get the quadriceps to stretch, which help to mobilize the hip joint and the knee joint. And then pushing that hip forward will deepen the stretch in the quadriceps and the hip flexors. Try to keep the leg alongside your body. Take one more breath. And then you're going to take that leg straight. We're going to do that lifting. So really, you can put your hand on your waist here, on your hip bone, to push your hip bone down to create as much length on the side as you can. Flex the foot. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. And when you lift, lifting from the pinky toe edge, and in particular, the back part where the heel is. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. On the next one, you're going to come up in little pulses, reaching up from the back of the pinky toe edge, staying nice and long in your waist. Stay up. And then lower down. Bend your knees. Take your hands. You're going to clasp your hands behind your head. You're going to inhale to open. Exhale, close. Whatever range of motion you can experience here. One more.
The next one, you're going to inhale to open. Stay there. Take one more breath. And then you're going to exhale to come out. Let's take your hand on the floor. We're going to come up to move our blankets. So move your blanket to the top of your mat. Make sure you have your blocking strap handy. Come down onto your back. So we did a lot to stretch the joints to create more range of motion in the body. And I'd like to end with more stabilizing muscular work to keep yourself, to strengthen yourself in this open up position. You have all of this space we created. So we're going to need a strap or something. If you may have something where you need to tie it, if you have to do a regular tie. If you have a traditional strap, these are D-rings. So with the D-rings, you thread through the two Ds and then you open them up and you put it in between and continue in the direction you were going. So depending on what strap you have, we're going to take the strap and bring the strap through the feet. So make sure you put it through the feet, all the way through up to your upper thighs, and then tighten it so that when you pull your legs apart, the space between your knees is only about this space, block distance. You want to have resistance on the side of your body. Okay. And then keep your block by the side for a second. Take your hands behind your head. Let's reach your arms really nice and long. Take an inhale, press your arms into the floor, press your tailbone and your sacrum into the floor, and let your low back and your lower ribs move away from the floor. But remember, your tushy is still touching. Inhale. As you exhale, come into a fully undulated spine, come into flexion, bring your chin towards your chest, your elbows towards each other, back is flat. Inhale. If you have osteoporosis, keep your arms open when you come up. Don't add that flexion to the upper spine, that rounding to the upper spine. And if you don't, you're okay to come all the way through. Better to be safe than sorry, right? Push out on the strap. One more. Bring yourself back to neutral. Bring your legs in the air. Take your block between your feet. So the block goes between the feet. The block goes on the floor with the feet, and you bring your feet as close to your body as you can. You have your strap on. Take your hands down alongside your body. Now contracting your core, imagine you're zippering up your midsection or your lower body's like a tube of toothpaste. You need to squeeze the toothpaste up underneath your rib cage. Feel that contraction, that inward, and then that lift. So whatever visual works for you, or a big orange that you're squeezing. Take an inhale. As you exhale, squeeze, contract your core, lift your block off the floor only 2 inches, and then lower down. Contract your core, flatten your low back, lift the block up, and inhale to lower. It should be pretty intense. Exhale, push out on the strap, squeeze in on the block, flatten the low back, contract the core, and then lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Last one, exhale to rise, stay there. Your block's only 1 or 2 inches from the floor. The higher you lift, the less effective it is. So stay real low. Try to flatten that low back, squeeze the block, push out on the strap. And then go ahead and release. Bring your feet up, take the block out. Take the block to the side. Take your blanket away from your head. Feet are down alongside your body.
Palms face in towards each other, thumbs are up. Walk your feet a little bit more away from your body. Lengthen your head, lift it off the floor, and lengthen the back neck. Push your feet into the floor, squeeze out in the strap. Let's prepare. Exhale. Inhale, lift your pelvis up, lift your right arm up, rotate your head to the left, and exhale to lower. Inhale, push your feet into the floor, push out on the strap, lift your left hand up, rotate your head to the right, lift your pelvis off the floor only to about heart level. So you're not trying to go up really high here. You're trying to push away from the floor and push out, strengthening the pelvis, strengthening the hips, strengthening the low back. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. One more. Bring yourself back to center. Head is nice and long. Walk your feet closer together. Lift your upper back off the floor. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Lengthen the neck. Feet are underneath your knees. Push out into the strap. Let the low back lower down towards the floor. Exhale. Inhale. Peel your spine up and away. Don't look side to side here. You could lift more of your ribs off the floor when you have the strap there. Make sure the weight goes to the upper back, not to the head and the neck. Exhale to lower. Placing your spine down one vertebra at a time, ending up at the tailbone. Inhale, begin to point the tailbone up towards the sky, flatten the low back, and then begin to peel that lower back up away from the floor, the lower ribs, all the way up to above the heart to the upper back. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. You're going to peel yourself up and stay up. Don't look side to side. Push your chest up, push your heart up. Push your arms into the ground or reach down and clasp your hands. Slide your shoulder blades closer towards each other. Bridge posture. Push your feet into the floor, push out on the strap. Knees are long away from you, and take deep breaths here. Push away from the floor. Take one more breath. When it's time to lower, come down one vertebra at a time. Lifting your heels off the floor when you come towards the bottom. Lengthen your spine. Take the strap off. Reach up to get your blanket, draw the blanket into your head, and then draw one knee in at a time. Rock side to side. There should be nobody asking for a refund after today's class, because that was a yummy space-creating practice to increase your ability to move your body, to give you more play and more dance in your joints, to allow you to have more play and dance in your life. We're going to end with our Shavasana, allowing the integration of all that yumminess that just took place in today's practice to seep into your body, into your mind, into your soul. Come into any position that's appropriate for you. and stay connected to your breath. If you'd like to repeat the word peace, peace, peace over and over, allow that to go into all cells in your body and mind. Bring your awareness to your breath as you deepen your breath. Bring awareness to your fingers and toes as you start to bring movement to fingers and the toes. Bending the ankles, the wrists. Bring the knees into the chest. Rock on to your right side. Take your hand on the ground as you push yourself up to a seated position to close your practice, to seal the deal, to let it all seep in, for you to complete that whole mind-body experience of the practice of yoga, everything integrated into one. We're going to end with a sound, a humming sound. Let's take a deep exhale. Inhale down to your belly. Bowing in namaste, in gratitude. So hopefully you remember a lot of what was done today on the mat so that you could bring that off the mat with you, especially your vitamin P plank pose to keep your body nice and strong so that it'll support you and allow you to dance and play and enjoy life. All right. Well, I feel great. So hopefully you do. I thought about a lot of you today that are here wondering if you could do some of the things I was doing. And I always try to make this manageable for everyone and not do too much that a lot of you can't do. And I know some of the things I was doing today, the end range of motion was not available for your knees or your wrists. So hopefully you were able to find what was available to you, because there is something. Sorry, I'm fiddling with my clock for my next class. All right. So anyway, thank you so much. Great, Stevie. Great. Yes, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy your time. Hopefully you'll practice lots of yoga in the meantime. And I'll see you in a couple weeks. All right. Bye.